Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. We've got a another interesting development today. We got some more stuff in, and happens to be from a new sponsor. So if you hadn't picked up on it, I kind of let slip in the comment on I think the last video, maybe two. I said sponsors instead of sponsor at the end of the video because I've had this in mind, but I couldn't wait to show you guys. So some guys have been asking about the paint I'm using on the truck, and I have to tell you this is the number one choice for me. And let me show you who it is. RavcoParts.com. These guys, I've been using their paint for a long time, and I'm actually very happy with it. It comes in spray cans, which is what we have here, the whole case, and gallon cans. Now you can buy single gallon, 2 gallons, you can buy a mixed case of 4 gallons, you can buy a whole case of the same color, 4 gallons. Any way you want, they'll send it to you. Now what I got here is a case of 12 cans of a mixture of 383 green, which is 34094, and flat black and brown. And here I got 3 cans of green and a can of black. I already had a can of brown that I ordered before that I haven't gotten to use, so I was good on that. And brown is the least used color, so you get 1 gallon or a couple of cans, it's probably going to last you a long time. Now Rapco, like I've told you before, I like to support small business, small companies. Rapco is a small business, okay? Now that doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. These guys sell all over the world, and there's a good reason for that. Their paint, and they also carry Jeep parts and stuff like that, mind you, M151, M38, M37, stuff like that. So, Rapco's paints are an industrial alkyd paint. It's an equipment paint, so like if you see your Caterpillar bulldozers and stuff like that, alkyd paint is what they use to paint that. It stays out in the weather, you know, its entire life, and it actually holds up pretty good. Now, there are different companies that make alkyd paint. Rapco uses Gillespie, and the thing about their paints above the others that sets them apart is they actually added more UV stabilizers in them. So it's not as prone to fading like you remember, like you get on Steel Soldiers per se, and you look back in some of the really old comments years ago that would say they had a problem with them fading and chalking. Well, it's been improved since back years and years ago. They actually listen to customer feedback, so you're not going to have those problems anymore. If you ever did, the paint lays down well. It's a high solids paint, so you get really good coverage with a small amount. Like I haven't even used a whole gallon, and you've seen, if you've been following along on the M35 Come & Swap series, you've seen all the stuff I've painted with it, and I've still got probably a quarter of that gallon left, a quart, maybe a little less. But I knew that wasn't gonna, and I put several coats on what I painted already, so a little goes a long way. And the thing about this paint, the other thing about it is, if you're worried about like shades not matching, like I've gotten paint from a local place in town before, and the problems I've had with that is every time I get it mixed, it's a different shade. So I can't use them. You know, it's even the flat black. It's always a different how do you mess up black? But they do. So when you get paint from Rapco, you're going to get the same shade every time, and Rapco takes pride in matching their colors perfectly because they are actually a paint provider for award-winning military shield vehicles. So if you're worried about your shade, if you are doing a full, you know, competition restoration, go with Rapco, and you're going to get the right thing. I don't know what else to say about the paint. You know, Mark told me that he established this company, I think in 1990 he bought it. There was a guy running the company out of his garage, and got a offer for being a captain, an airline pilot, and offered the company to Mark, and it skyrocketed from there. Mark took it and turned it around and turned it into something a little bigger. So, and like I said, I've been ordering from these guys for a long time. I've never had any problems with shipping or customer service or anything. They're great. So, let me show you how they package their product. But I like the box. That's cool. That's another little thing they did to show off their product. And you know, there's your information, the phone number and the web address. I'm also going to put the information on this down in the description. So let's open up the spray cans first. Show you what they got in here. Yes, I sharpened my knife because somebody mentioned in one of the other videos that, oh, I need to sharpen my knife. And somebody being my dad. Yeah, it's a work knife. You know? So what we have here, and that's nice. I've never actually bought a full case from them before. I've bought, you know, 3 or 4 cans or whatnot. Look at this, man. How nicely packaged that is. It's got separators and everything. It's not just packed in there with packing peanuts. Yes. Their cans. Their cans are very well labeled. You got your paint code and everything on every one of them. 30051 is the FS paint code for the 383 Brown. And they are careful to mention that this is a Kark substitute. This is not actual dangerous to work with Kark. It's a single stage paint. You don't have to mix a hardener with it or anything. Put as many coats on as you want and walk away. It gets hard and tough on its own. Now you can use a hardener with it if you're really one of those guys that just has to have the hardener, but it's not necessary. And they do sell the hardener as well. The thing about it is it will change the shade and the gloss of whatever paint you put it in. So FS 911 is flat black, and 34094 383 green. That's the main thing I use, and everybody is going to use their base color more than their other colors if you have a multiple color pattern. So very generous of them to send us all this stuff. Take a chance on sponsoring our little channel here. We're growing all the time, so I don't think they'll be sorry. Now I do have some pieces here on the bench you can't see that are out of frame that I'm going to paint with some of these rattle cans and show you just how it comes out. Now, I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to get out one of the gallons and stir it up and put it in a gun and paint something big today, because you've been seeing how the paint is coming out on the truck. And if you look back, I think 5 or 6 months ago when I painted the Vietnam scheme M35 truck, I've got 3 videos on that shows you how to prep it and how it came out. So, and you don't even have to do a lot of prep with this paint if your base substrate is in good shape. I mean, you can take it down to bare metal and go from there, or if your substrate's in good shape, you can just scuff it, clean it, spray over it, it comes out great, or you can scuff your base coat or your substrate if the paint's in good shape, then prime it and then spray over it. So it's a very versatile paint, and I like it for that. There's not a lot of paints that you can do that with, and since you don't have to mix it, if you get done painting what you want and you decide you've got enough paint on it, you can take what's in your paint gun, pour it right back in the gallon and reseal it, and it's not gonna cure what's in the gallon. You don't have to worry about contamination. So the very well labeled for shipping, nice fiber reinforced tape. You know it's not going to bust open in transit unless somebody's really stupid. Which I guess, you know, some shipping companies have been known for that, but I've never had a problem with FedEx, and that's who Rapco uses, is FedEx, by the way. So, yes. Now they use U-line components for shipping, so if you, I understand not everybody knows about shipping and packaging products. I myself am not an expert, but I know U-line products are good stuff. And I mean, they use the gallon cans and everything, which the component list is on the lid here. So I'm not sure if you can see that in the frame or not. So, okay, you know what? Just to give you a little better picture, I'm gonna grab you here. So this is what you see when you open up your 4-gallon case. And I'm assuming, I've never bought a 2-gallon case, but I'm assuming a 2-gallon case would be just half of this. So anyway, very nice heavy duty styrofoam insulators on the top. Look how thick that is. That's like 1.25 inches thick. Yeah, that ain't gonna bust. And the top and bottom, they're spaced apart well. You've got little metal retainers on each lid all the way around, so you know the paint is not going to lose its head, so to speak, and leak all over the place. This one did shift in transit, but as you can see, their spacing is perfect and everything, so it actually kept the can from contacting another. So that is the point of packaging it the way they do. So even if something does get thrown hard and shifts, it's not going to hit another can. So that can shifted as well. Still, yeah, it did make a little bit of contact. But no leak. Actually, it didn't. It did not make contact. It almost did. So let's see what we've got here. Let's take these out. My 383 green. I like these cans. Special flat black. 11911. Ready for 383. 383. Another thing about these guys is they get your order right. You know, I've, like I said, and I keep saying, I've ordered a good bit from these guys, and they've never sent me the wrong stuff. So I'm very pleased with that, because when somebody sends me the wrong product, or they have in the past, which it doesn't happen that often, but if you order from like some of the other suppliers, they do once in a while send you the wrong thing, and then you're, you know, a week behind waiting on getting your job done, because you've got to wait for the rest of the stuff to get there and send the other stuff back. So very much appreciate the attention to detail and the good packaging that these guys do. I have ordered a 1-gallon before, and it comes in one box with good packaging around it, and these top and bottom. So also very good packaging even on the single cans. So let's paint something. What do you say? Let me get this case of 4 gallons off of here, and let's see what we can show you with the spray cans. Now, important to note, the paint you get in the spray cans and the paint you get in the gallons are the same paint. You're not getting two different things. You're not getting two different formulas or mixes. It does match exactly, but obviously you're not going to get as much coverage as quickly with a spray can as you would with a paint gun. So just to note that it's not a different product, it does match exactly, which is why it's a good idea, if you do order gallons of paint, also to order at least a few cans of the spray cans, so if and when your paint does get scratched or chipped or something, like especially on a step board on the side of the truck, you can touch it up and it matches exactly. So let's see what we've got here to show you. I have a small simple component, which is the West Coast mirror arm bracket that bolts to the cowl of the truck. We're going to paint that. I have a small complicated piece, which is the air governor for the truck. We're going to paint that. Both prepared. We have a larger complicated component. This is a windshield hinge. This is probably about the biggest thing I would paint with a rattle can, but now I've seen guys paint entire trucks with the rattle cans, buy several cases and do the whole truck, and it comes out great. If you get your technique down, you can't even see any lines from the paint. It's amazing what they can do with this paint. I've never seen anything like it. So what else we've got? We've got one, just a piece of machine steel. This is untreated. I'm not going to prime this. It's got a little bit of surface rust on it. No, I don't even have a scuff pad available. We're just going to spray this and see how it comes out, just for shits and giggles. Obviously, most people aren't going to just spray a rusty piece of metal like that without doing something to it, but I want to see what happens with it. So the rest of these are going to get primed. Now, they also do sell, Rapco sells all three kinds of primer that the military used. Okay, they use some really dangerous stuff that's really not easily available anymore, like the old zinc chromate and yellow death. You can't get that from Rapco. That's stuff you don't want to mess with anyway. So like if you're restoring, say, a Garwood winch case and you're taking the paint off and you see that bright yellow, wear a respirator and gloves, because that stuff will kill you. There's a reason they call it yellow death. But they do sell black zinc phosphate primer. They sell gray zinc phosphate primer, and they sell red zinc phosphate primer. Now, in my experience with M35s, the red zinc phosphate primer is the most common. You can get it from them in the gallon cans or the rattle cans. Now I've always got some red zinc primer laying around because I'm always painting stuff, and I picked this up at the hardware store. A little bit left, so that's what we're going to use. No dig at Rapco, but I thought it was better for me to get colors that I needed because I've always got the primer sitting around. So, but their prices on all this stuff is reasonable. Like, look, there's a really painful thing that I keep seeing more and more often lately, and that is people using like bare latex house paint on trucks. I don't care if you've had good results with it. It's latex paint. It belongs in a house, not a truck. Okay? This paint, if you hit it with something and it chips, it's chipped, okay? You can do a little bit of sanding and fix it. Latex paint, if it decides it wants to bubble and peel somewhere, or you scratch it, it's peeling, and you can't really do anything about it, okay? It is what it is. I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm not the kind of guy to down anyone's success, but I can't stand seeing that. It seems like sacrilege to me. If you're gonna paint a truck, use a paint that's meant for a truck or a piece of equipment, since these are actually more like pieces of equipment than automotive vehicles. So, enough of my yapping. Let's get started. Mix this up a little bit. High volume output. So it doesn't take much. Generally speaking, anything you paint, you want to paint the more difficult areas to reach first. That way you don't have to go back trying to get them spraying more paint and end up making a run somewhere else. Do we have enough hangers to do this? Probably not. But I think we can fix that by doing this. Now this stuff only takes a couple of minutes to dry to the touch. And actually you can top coat it with the Rapco even when it's still wet. Of course it is ideal to let it flash off for a few minutes, at least let it get the look that it's dry. So, this is the air governor. This is a very complicated multiple angle piece. It's hard to get in all the nooks and crannies, but let's see what we can do. The hardest part about this is not just getting coverage, but not getting runs, And it takes a lot of finesse, I'll say that. And even me, I'm not, I've done a lot of this, but I'm not perfect. And of course you'll note that I did tape up all the threaded openings, because you don't want to get any paint down into your governor, or you'll be replacing it. You'll have wasted paint on it for nothing. Alright. The governor is primed. I'll show you kind of a little closer of that. So if you buy this primer from Rapco, you're gonna get the same performance. It's gonna take you a couple of more strokes to get the same coverage because, you know, Rust-Oleum, whatever, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They've got their little patented high output spray nozzle, but it is what it is. Like I said, I'm probably gonna start getting primer from them just to support the little guy. So, and I suggest, and only suggest, I can't force you, but please do the same. Give these guys your business. They really deserve it. All right, let's prime the big piece and see what kind of action we can get. Now, yes, I'm indoors, but I have the front bay door open and the back personnel door open, and I've got pretty good cross breeze, so I'm not wearing a respirator. I should be, but oh well. When I was younger, I would actually paint things in a paint booth with no respirator. Stupid, yeah, but I'm not dead yet. That is probably the thing that'll kill me though. Always wear your PPE. Don't be like me, wear PPE. Okay, oh, we got a couple spots we missed here. Very bottom tip. All right, now that's good and primed. Oh, wait a minute, light spot. Cool. Now we gotta find something to hang this on. It isn't gonna come crashing down because it's kind of heavy for a small part. Cool. Now, the last part we're not gonna prime. So, what do you guys think? Should we do green on? Yeah, we're gonna probably do green on all of it. Oh. But black, brown. You know what? I'm gonna do at least one thing in brown. Oh, I'm shaking. What's that noise? This is cool. These guys send actually extra tips with each can. So, see that right there? It comes with 2 tips, and it's every can. So if you do use it and you forget to turn it over and spray it to get some of the excess out and it clogs up, well, you've got extras. And they are adjustable. You can turn this little thing and you'll get either a up and down fan or a side to side fan. So, cool little stuff that they do. Now, shake it some more. First one we did was the small mirror bracket, so that is the most flashed off, so let's put a top coat on this. Now it's probably going to be a little more difficult to see because it's brown on like reddish brown. It's almost same color, but let me see what I can show you in the frame here. Of course the lighting isn't that great either. Alright, can you see it better back here? This is terrible. My lights on this side just started going out yesterday. My luck is horrible. Let's spray some paint. Okay, that's different enough that you'll be able to see it. You see the shade there? All right. Let's put that one up, and I'll show you what it looks like when that flashes off. Now, I wonder if I could do that. This piece of untreated, I'm going to do a stripe of brown, a stripe of black, and a stripe of green. Just, why not? So, Alright. And of course, you know, every shade is going to be different depending on what you're watching this on. But rest assured, they are the proper shade when you're actually in person. More lids. Well, nozzles. This is the 911 flat black. Yes, I am doing the full 3-color woodland on my truck, so. Okay, so let's do, I don't want to do my governor in black. I'll do that in green. So we'll do the windshield hinge here. And you'd see, surprisingly, even for low volume like a Rally-Cam gives you, it covers so good with just minimal effort. That's the high solids in the paint I was talking about earlier. Of course, the more paint you put on, the tougher the coating will be over time. More resistant to abrasion and such, rock chips, things like that. But you don't have to put a lot of paint on to get tough coating. And if you put a whole lot on, it actually makes it more prone to damage by chipping and peeling and stuff like that. That's why you get a truck that's got 30 layers of caulk on it and the paint's peeling everywhere, because it can't stick when you got that much on it. It wants to pull itself apart. So, I'll take this off because I gotta do the back. Now, this is not a demonstration of painting the whole truck, right? If you want some stuff like that, you have to go back and look at some of my older videos. Like I mentioned, the one where I actually painted the M35, and even that didn't actually have footage of me out there spraying because I don't have the proper camera equipment to do time lapse and stuff. So one of these days, hopefully sooner than later actually, I will get a video time lapse of me actually painting some stuff. Alright. Now there's no way you could not see how good that coverage is, because that is black on red brown. And I didn't do a whole lot there. It is completely covered in one application. So you're not going to get that with Rust-Oleum or Krylon or anything else. Plus, that other stuff is not going to match anything military. It might be kind of close, but it's never going to get you where you want to be. So let's do our obligatory stripe on the metal there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys out, take the camera out of there, and take this out in the sunlight and show you the real shade of it when we're done. So, where's my green? There. There's my green. Nozzles. Now, first time with the can out, probably best to shake it without the nozzle in it, because if you're shaking it and you drop it and it breaks the nozzle off, it's happened to me before. The nozzle breaks off even with the top of the can, and then you can't do anything with it. Unless you're lucky enough to be able to get it out with a pick without spraying yourself in the face. I've done that. It sucks. So, best to shake the can with no nozzle in it. Alright. Probably not long enough, but I'm not going to make you guys sit here watching me 5 minutes shaking a can of paint. Alright, let's grab the governor. The Governator. Alright. 383 green, 34094. Start laying some color. It's just so impressive how fast it goes. Look at that. Look at that. It's already And if you bought from Rapco before, that's great. You know, they appreciate everyone's patronage, and they keep their customers on file. So if you bought from them before, they know you. You're not just a number to them. It's already done. Wow. Look how nice that looks. And here's another thing about this high solids paint from them. It doesn't matter if you use the red zinc phosphate primer or the gray or the black. It's not going to affect the shade of the paint when it's done, because you've got so many solids in the color on top of the primer. If you use other paints, if you use a lighter color primer, it can make your paint come out lighter. If you use a darker primer, it can make your paint come out darker, because the light transmits through it and comes back. This paint doesn't do that. It doesn't matter what primer you use under it, it's always going to be the same shade and color. So that is a nice thing to note. Guys, if you do decide to, and you can call these guys or you can order online, if you do decide to order paint from them, tell them you saw this on my channel. Tell them I sent you. I like these guys. I've been using them for a long time, and I wouldn't send you to somebody I didn't trust, right? So this is not just stumping for somebody. I'm telling you, this is who I use and this is who I like, because their products actually work. Look, I'm using it on my own truck. I put how many hours and how much money into this thing already? I wouldn't tell you to use their stuff if it wasn't good. So when you order online, put down there in you know, the notes or comments, whatever the space that they leave you, you know, saw it on Tactical Repair or something. When you call them, just mention me. Even if you've ordered from them before, it will help me and help them to know that you saw this on here. So I'm gonna let this cure for a few more seconds. This already looks like it's pretty well flashed off. Yeah, okay, look. Already dry to the touch. I don't know how long this video is at already, but yeah. Now, of course, the more paint you put on, the longer it's going to take to dry to the touch, and so forth. I think 10-15 minutes at the most is the time you need to give it to dry before you start handling it. You see, I put more paint on the bottom than I did on the top, and I left a fingerprint right there where the nut's going to go. So that's no problem, whatever. So, because when I put this on, I'm going to have to do, I'm going to put stainless bolts in it, and I'll have to do a little touch-up shot of paint on it anyway. So, and that's another thing that's nice about the cans. If you need to touch up or paint a small component and you don't have to load up your paint gun, even if it's a door jamb gun, you don't have to stir your paint and load up the gun and spray what you're going to spray, then dump the paint back out, then clean out your paint gun. You just grab a spray can, because it's the same paint, and you know if it's set right. The proper application of it is up to you. Oh, really? Of course, the phone wants to fall over on me like that. I think it said enough is enough, shut up. So let's take this out in the sunlight, because this video is getting long. I'll show you what it looks like, and it's not, you see, it's not done flashing off yet. Still looks good though. And that color is going to change a bit as it flashes off, dries out. It's going to be exactly the same as what's on the bumper here in the truck. And you can already see how close the match is. So unfortunately, I don't have any of the brown or black on the truck yet. But I'll show you when this is all done. I've got to get the front of the stuff done and all the body panels back on, and then I'll put my other two colors on it. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'm really happy to have Rapco on as a new sponsor for the channel. Check out the information down in the description below. I will put the company contact information, the web address, and the phone number, And like I said, please don't forget to tell them that you saw it on here or that I sent you. It really will make a difference for us. So thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.